Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, it is great to see you all. Let me introduce myself and my partner. I am Nurbidaya Sharifa and my partner is Afan Putri Isnaini. In this presentation, we will discuss about chapter 30 about classroom management. Okay, I will explain to you about what is classroom management. Classroom management is the process of planning, organizing, mobilizing, and supervising teacher learning activities with the full use of resources to achieve the learning objectives that have been set effectively and efficiently. Classroom management is an important requirement that determines the creation of effective learning. The creation of a comfortable classroom is a study of classroom management because classroom management is a series of teacher behaviors in an effort to create and maintain classroom conditions that allow students to learn well. The effectiveness of classroom management depends on how teachers understand various aspects of its implementation. And then the physical environment of the classroom. One of the simple principles of classroom management is centered on the physical environment for learning and classroom itself. Consider four categories. First, sight, sound, and comfort. On the principle, it is used likely 1. The classroom is neat, clean, and orderly in appearance. 2. Chalkboard are erased. 3. The classroom is as free from external noises and possible as an example, street noise, hallway voice, and etc. And 4. Activities with your classroom are at least tolerable. And 5. Heating or cooling system. Second, seating arrangement. Seating arrangement for effective learning. Every teacher likes to arrange their classroom layout for the largest student benefit. Types of seating arrangement for classroom such as pair, grid, presentation groups of 4, corner work, U-shape, and double U-shape, and etc. Third, chalkboard use. The chalkboard is one of your greatest allies. It gives students a visual input along with auditory. At the same time, try to be neat and orderly in your chalkboard use, erasing as often as appropriate. A messy, confusing chalkboard drives students crazy. And fourth, equipment. The classroom may be controlled to include any equipment you may be using. If using electrical equipment, say an overhead projector or a video player, make sure that 1. The room has outlets. 2. The equipment fits comfortably in the room. 3. Everyone can see and or hear the visual or auditory stimulus. And 4. You leave enough time before and after class to get the equipment and return it to its proper place. In this slide 5, another fundamental classroom management concern has to do with you and the message you send through voice and body language. Voice and body language for of the first requirement of good teaching is good voice projection. You do not have to have a loud booming voice, but you need to be heard by all the students in the room. Let your body posture exhibit an air of confidence. Use facial and hand gestures to enhance meaning of word and sentence that might otherwise be unclear. And keep as natural a flow to your language as possible. Clear articulation is usually more of a key to comprehension than solid speech. Make frequent eye contact with all students in the class. Okay, next in this slide 6, unplanned teaching, mainstream lesson change. You will keep the respect of your students and your own self-confidence by staying calm, assessing the situation quickly, making a mainstream change in your plan, and allowing the lesson to move on. It is a key is poise. Next, teaching under adverse circumstances. Teaching under adverse circumstances of diverse circumstances as a number of management concerns of widely divergent nature on one of the most significant factors contributing to your professional success. First, teaching large class. Large classes present some problems. 1. Proficiency and ability vary widely across students. 2. Individual teachers, student attentional and minimized. And 3. Teachers' feedback on students' written work is limited. Solution of their problems. Use feedback and evaluation in written work whenever appropriate, and optimize the use of pair work and small group work to give students chance to perform. And next, second, teaching multiple proficiency levels in the same class. There is often a wide range of proficiency levels among students in the same class, especially in large classes, but even relatively small classes can be composed of students who, is your estimation, should not all be placed at the same level. Okay, next presentation material will be by my partner Avanin. Avanin, please.
Okay, the next slide is about compromise with institution. The terrible circumstances in which most teachers at one time teach in institutional conditions that do not affect the ideal standards. Nah, ini maksudnya bagaimana guru berkompromi dengan institusi. Nah, berkompromi dengan institusi ini adalah keadaan buruk di mana sebagian besar guru pada suatu waktu mengajar dalam kondisi kelembagaan yang tidak mempengaruhi standar ideal. Nah, di sini for example is the rules are based on what should be taught in the curriculum. Nah, ini maksudnya aturan yang diberlakukan atas apa yang harus diajarkan pada mata kuliah harus sesuai dengan kurikulum. Kemudian the second one is the rules are set on how you should teach. Nah, di sini adalah aturan yang ditetapkan tentang bagaimana Anda harus mengajar, gitu ya. Kemudian the next slide is about discipline. Much research has written down the subject of discipline in the classroom. Nah, di sini sebenarnya sudah banyak gitu ya institusi atau riset gitu ya yang telah menuliskan pokok disiplin dalam ruang kelas. Nah, some way to get discipline, beberapa cara gitu ya yang bisa untuk mendapatkan kedisiplinan tersebut antara lain earn respect for students by treating them fairly. Nah, untuk mendapatkan rasa hormat dari siswa, itu kita harus memperlakukan para siswa dengan adil. Kemudian, the second one is state clearly to students what your expectation are about their behavior in class, speaking, attendance, and obligations like homework. Nah, di sini juga kita sebagai guru harus menyatakan dengan jelas dan gamblang kepada siswa apa harapan kita terhadap mereka. Seperti kayak perilaku mereka di kelas, berbicara, kehadiran ataupun keterlambatan, dan kewajiban tambahan seperti mengerjakan PR. And then the next slide is about cheating atau menyontek gitu ya. Cheating is a violation of the standard of individual response to other tests or exercises. The first step to overcoming the problem of cheating is to ascertain the student's perception. Is he or she being honest about taking tests or not? Nah, penjelasan mengenai hal ini itu sebenarnya kecurangan itu adalah pelanggaran mengenai tes ataupun exercises lainnya. Nah, langkah pertama untuk mengatasi problem ini adalah harus memastikan persepsi bahwa apakah anak ini tuh jujur enggak sih dalam mengerjakan tes gitu. Kita harus mendapatkan persepsi tersebut. Kita harus menanyakan tersebut ya. Kemudian the next slide is about teacher roles and teaching styles. Okay, the first is about role. A teacher must play many roles. Play the role of educators, advisors, even parent belief. Actually, the role takes precedence in the student's eye. For example, how you act as an educator and teach as best as you can, as well as a student's best friend when there are students who are having problems. Nah, di sini peran guru itu bisa sebagai pendidik, pembimbing, bahkan sebagai kepercayaan orang tua. And then next is about teaching styles. The teaching style is our way as educators bring the material to the students as effectively as possible. And the last one is about cultural expectation. Teachers are expected to have all the answer. Or maybe teachers are allowed to say, I don't know. Nah, di sini kita bisa menjelaskan sedikit bahwa ekspektasi budaya gitu ya. Para guru itu selalu diharapkan memiliki semua jawaban gitu. Padahal pada kenyataannya, guru juga diperbolehkan untuk mengatakan, I don't know, saya tidak tahu. And then teachers are expected to suppress emotions, or teachers are allowed to express emotion. Nah, di sini dikatakan bahwa guru diharapkan untuk selalu menekan emosi. Padahal di sisi lain, guru itu juga diperkenankan untuk mengekspresikan emosi. And the last slide is about creating a positive classroom climate. Bagaimana cara menciptakan suasana kelas yang positif? The first is establish rapport. Nah, mengadakan raport ini bertujuan untuk apa sih? Yang pertama, to lead students to feel capable, competent, and creative. And then, showing the students interest in a lesson. And the third is provides feedback on each student's progress. And then selanjutnya adalah balance praise and criticism. Nah, di sini kita harus tahu bagaimana untuk mendapatkan keseimbangan pujian dan kritikan. How can effective commendation be given? Bagaimana sih cara menyampaikan pujian secara efektif? Showing pleasure and concern for the students. Offering appreciation for the students' efforts in accomplishing difficult tasks. And the last one is generate energy. What is energy in class? This energy can be obtained on the teaching experience itself. For example, when the study is completed, students feel happy because the material is enthusiastically explained by the teacher. Energy aims to push students toward maximum achievement. Oke, sekian presentasi dari kelompok kami. Is there any question? Please write down below at commenter. Thank you everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.